So, I think at this point of time, you must be also wondering like who this person here, like what gives him this audacity to come here today and start to harass you with this particular topic about the secrets of connecting with others. And I think that as the so-called, well, the speaker come facilitator for today, I think it's only a polite thing for me to introduce myself. So let me just do that. And I guess, but of course, in the interest of time, because we only have the next 1 hour plus, okay, in this particular session today, of course, I'm not able to give a full-fledged introduction. But what I can do is actually, give a bit of just a few fast facts about me, okay? For me, actually, just a few little quick tidbit about myself is that I want to admit to everybody here today that I'm a little bit of what is called I'm obsessed nutcase when it comes to this thing about persuasion and influencing skills. Right? When it comes to certain strategies or skill sets or abilities to try to persuade or influence other people better, right? I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, hey, I want to know that. I want to learn it and apply it, right? So you see, actually, over the years, actually, I learned this aspect of how to persuade other people better, as well as actually, in a way, influence other people better. And of course, one of those key effects, one of those key things about influencing other people better is that you're able to connect better with others as well, able to connect with others better, build solid relationships, right? Build really good kinships with other people. And I'm flying ahead of myself, but when you're actually able to build relationships better with others, right, it tends to make life easier, right? So I guess, what actually caused me to be so obsessed about learning and applying this thing about how to connect with other people, how to actually, in a way, create liking and all, right? I guess the obsession, there's really no one fixed origin, right? The origin actually comes from many different incidents that I've witnessed in my own life, where I got very curious and fascinated to actually trying to learn what is it that actually makes this thing about causing other people to be connected to you, how does it work, and so on. Like, for instance, I believe yourself, you actually have this happen to you as well, isn't it? Like, have you ever come across some people, this one person, like once in a while, you may just meet someone like that. This one person who, no matter where that person go, right, actually people just like him, right, or her. People just like this person, isn't it? Okay, you're able to connect with people easily, right? Or if not, it could be other incidents as well, right? Like there are different incidents that happen in my life that I witnessed. That it happens so many times that I just can't ignore it. Yeah. Like for instance, actually, I know there are cases where I see two people who initially they are just like, they just have a very normal, plain interaction, nothing much to it. But eventually what happened is that these two people, they actually become very well bonded, right? They have this strong connection with each other, great relationship. They actually, actually look out for each other's back. They support each other. They're willing to actually do favors for each other and so on. So it's actually in a certain situation like this that I witnessed, like, initially two people, they are just like from plain interaction to become like, very bonded and very connected, right? They have this strong relationship. It got me to actually think like, what are some of those working mechanics, okay, those secrets behind it that cause actually, people to be like that, to actually be able to connect with others, right? So of course, that began my path, and it's an ongoing path for me to actually continuing learning, and not just learning, but also applying in my own life, this thing about how to connect with other people better, right? And of course, having said that, I learn from actually different arenas. I tend to synthesize information from different places. That includes like from books and also from experts. But yet all these things are just very theoretical. If I just actually were to rely on books or actually rely on, like, for instance, I know theoretical stuff, what happened is actually I tend to actually become a little bit of a researcher as well, where actually in a way I try to research and reverse engineer from real life examples. In other words, people who are real connectors, real rapport builders, right? Like you see, in my life itself, I come across some people who, again, I believe that you have met some of these people as well. Like wherever they go, they're able to connect with people. Like actually around the year 2003, right, a good 17 years ago, I have the good fortune of meeting this particular lady. Yep, her name is JC. And for JC, actually for her, let me tell you, she is one of those natural rapport builders, right? Everywhere she go, right, people just actually, I gain this affinity with her very easily. They just like her so easily, right? Even for me, the first time when I talked to her, within the first few minutes, just from a very actually visceral level, I just feel that, hey, I can really click with this person. I like this person a lot, right? Okay. So, and as it turned out, and mind you, again, this was actually in the year 2003. And if you remember that year, 2003, okay, do you remember that time they have this thing called Friendster? Right? If you remember that, go ahead, put in the chat box, put yes. Okay, Friendster. I know nowadays we have Facebook. Yes, Facebook and all like that. But what's Friendster? If anybody actually can't remember what it is, it's kind of like an ancestor of Facebook. So that time actually Friendster, I was connected to JC, okay, on Friendster itself. And funny enough, when I look at for instance, the time Friendster, they have this particular function where they show you and another person's mutual friends, mutual connections. So when I look at, actually, for instance, JC, and actually I found that, actually, for her, actually I have a lot of my friends, a big chunk of my friends, right? Okay, actually I also know JC. Yep. Okay. So in a sense, she's very well connected to different people, okay, to different networks and to different circles as well. Of course, that's just when it comes to the quantity of people that she know, that she actually have relationships with, right? But it's not just the quantity, but the quality as well. Like that time, Friendster also have this particular function where, we can just write testimonials for one another. And for JC on the page, right, the number of testimonials that she got from people, right, were really tons and tons of them. Like people were saying, you know what, actually, I love hanging out with JC. I enjoy her presence and all things like that. She tends to actually have this particular natural connection or magnetism that people just like, right? And of course, there was this one time where JC actually, for her, actually, unfortunately, and for her computer, right, she actually got some water damage and the computer is spoiled. Yeah. So what happened is she actually asked people, okay, she asked around, actually, is there anybody actually who's able to just lend me a spare computer in the interim while I try to get a new computer? And you know what? She sent a message out. Then within a matter of 1 hour, right? Okay, in between, I know there's half a dozen people actually responding back to her. They say, yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you. Actually, I have a spare computer lend to you, right? Things like that. So the thing is, people are willing to do favors for her. They're willing to actually be more than happy to actually do so for her. So you see, she has this particular support from people due to the fact that she's a natural connection builder and so on, right? Which, of course, having said that, these are the people, the role models in my life who I try to actually study and reverse engineer from, okay? So I learned, again, from different arenas. I can synthesize information from books, from different places. But of course, I would say that my biggest education, my biggest learning comes in the form of something that's a little bit more practical. You see, actually, outside of this so-called speaking genre, speaking activities, right? What happened is that I founded and run 2 other companies, okay, 2 businesses. Okay, I'm still actively managing them today. And as it turned out, when it comes to this thing about connection with people, okay, I guess my biggest learning, biggest education comes in the fact that, okay, every day I definitely need to actually connect with people, right? On an everyday basis without fail. I would need to actually connect with people. Say, for instance, I need to connect with my customers, isn't it? Okay, my businesses is my companies. I need to connect with my customers, my clients, so that they will continue being my lifelong customers, right? I need to build relationships with them. And also need to build relationship with my staff members, my team members, so that all of us will function well, integratively as a whole. Yep. And also, let's not forget, there are sometimes actually I need to actually build connections and relationships with other companies as well. Like other people, like we sometimes have the joint ventures, we work together. So okay, we tend to actually need to build good relationships with one another. And also, let's not forget, there's also suppliers and vendors. So you could say that actually, what happens is, I tend to actually use these businesses and companies as a little bit of my own testing ground for me to actually test certain things, how to build rapport with people, how to build connections with people. So of course, over the years, when I actually tested different things, there are certain things that work. So what happened is that there are companies like, for instance, like different organizations. Today, for instance, is Aventis. Here they got me to share, for instance, my experiences and the things that work with people here, right? Like today, we're doing this over this particular platform. I parlay the information over to this platform here over Zoom and share with everybody here like the secrets of connecting with people. So having said that, that's just a little bit about me. Okay, just a little introduction about myself. But yet I want to actually right now, okay, put a bit of spotlight on you. You see, I would actually dare say that in my life, well, this thing about connecting with people, creating liking and bonds, right, is in a way not optional, it's compulsory, given the fact that I say that, hey, you know what, it's actually, I know I deal with actually people from different actually type of arenas, but I dare to say it's probably the same thing for you, right? Because you see today, actually, as I checked, let me see, actually the participants, now there's actually, 250 people, yikes, woo, okay, awesome. So actually, there's actually right now, 250 of you, okay? I believe that all of you belong to different companies, isn't it? Different companies and different departments, the nature of the things, the nature of a job is different from each other, isn't it? Yeah, okay? So of course, but some of you might be actually doing things like administration, or some of you might be doing certain things like, okay, it could be actually white collar, blue collar, whatever. But the fact remains that everyone here, the common denominator among all of you, among the 250 of you, is the fact that everyone here, you all deal with people, you all interface with people, isn't it? I wonder, is there anybody here who interface only with machines, only in machines? I don't think so, right? Every day, you'll be interfacing with people. Yeah, you'll be actually be interfacing in a way, like whether is it actually with people like colleagues, your boss, or someone else, okay? So having said that, I tend to actually see that there are 3 categories of people that you'll be interacting with, interfacing with in your own career and professional life. Yep. Okay. And okay, simply put, in different categories, like they're like, for instance, your colleagues, right? So why need to actually build connections and also build rapport, okay, and build strong relationships with them? I mean, put it this way. People who are able to build connection with their colleagues, right? They tend to have actually a better time at the workplace due to the fact that, when you have colleagues like you, when you have a bond with your colleagues, they tend to be more supportive with you, right? Sometimes you ask for favors or help. They'll be more willing to help you, isn't it? Right? As opposed to someone who have, really very non-existent or even sour relationship with their colleagues, right? So when the time comes, actually, when they require some help or need to work together, they actually tend to actually not gel well. So which is why actually the advantage for you when you're able to gel well with your colleagues, right? Okay, it's multiple fold, right? Multiple fold, right? And let's not forget, there's also, right, your superiors and bosses, people who you'll be interfacing with, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So superiors and bosses, or your supervisors, or the higher ups, whatever, give them a name, the higher ups. Now, what is the advantage when it comes to people who's able to actually build connection or, in a way, bonds with their superiors and bosses? Well, again, they tend to have an easier time at work, isn't it? I mean, your ideas get listened to more. Yeah. Actually, if your boss like you, let's just say that your time at the workplace will somehow actually be, let's just say that, well, it's actually probably actually a little bit more easy breezy than others. Okay, and of course, it's just not me saying it. People who actually who somehow do research on this, they find that people who actually have good relationship with their bosses, they tend to ascend faster and more efficiently and swifter, right? When it comes to actually their own professional or work life. Okay, so to give you an example, again, it's not just me saying it, right? I'm a man of science, so I always refer to certain things like research, okay, and also like, for instance, studies in the scientific community, right? So you see, this slide here, as you can see, okay, this gentleman here is actually Professor Jeffrey Pfeffer. Yep, he actually made a bit of a shocking discovery about what goes on in the workplace. You see, he studied across different industries, different companies, and then he find actually, in a way, this research about the people inside, and he can actually group, right? Okay, all the workers inside into two groups. Okay, the first group are people, the workers, the staff members, who are the hard workers, all right? Hard workers. These are people who work very hard. They are the people who actually go to work the earliest, and they are the last to leave the office. Okay, they are people who grind. They actually work very hard, blood, sweat, tears, all devoted to the company. They are hard workers, right? That's the first group. Now, there's another group of folks that Professor Jeffrey Pfeffer actually investigated and studied. The other group are people who are well-liked by their bosses, right? Well-liked by their bosses, all right? So these two groups of people, the first group, okay, people who work very hard workers in a company. Second group, people who are well-liked by their bosses, all right? Okay, so for these two groups, right, okay, of folks, okay, Professor Jeffrey Pfeffer looked at their performance reviews, and guess what? One particular group, right, their performance reviews actually outscore the other group. They have better performance review. They are actually, in a way, so seen actually in higher, actually they are seen as in higher esteem by their bosses, right? They are more, in a way, they ascend actually the company faster. And of course, no prizes for guessing. But those people, right, who tend to actually be more well-liked by their bosses, they have better and higher performance reviews by their bosses, okay, by the higher ups, right? I know some of you actually listening to this might think that, hey, that's a bit unfair, isn't it? Like, people who work hard, I mean, doesn't that count? Well, of course, you see, when it comes to being hardworking, of course, I guess that's a virtue. That's actually a virtue, that's for sure. But let's not forget one thing, right? The people that we're working with, right, including your bosses, we are all what? Human beings, isn't it? Human beings. So we're definitely susceptible to a lot of things, like, for instance, biases and so on. So many a times, right, a particular person could be hardworking, but if the person is not well-liked in the company, right, you know what? The performance review will suffer. The boss might even create justification and say, well, the person worked hard, that's his own prerogative. I never forced the person to work hard, right? But on the other hand, people who actually are well-liked by the bosses, then sometimes the bosses will actually create, again, their own justification and say that, okay, you know what? I like this person, so how bad can the person be in his own job? He's probably quite good in his job as well, right? Okay, so things like that happen. And of course, let's not forget the third category of people that you'll be interfacing with, right? Okay, for some of you, for instance, I give it a loose term, right? Like customer and clients, right? So people who are able to build better bonds with their customer and clients, they tend to actually be more well-liked by their clients, and naturally, their clients want to stay on to become a customer, isn't it? Instead of jumping ship. Yeah. So, and by the way, again, I use this term customer and clients loosely, but they could include external parties. Like, for instance, it could be, well, suppliers and vendors. So when you are able to actually build relationships, okay, there's the suppliers and the vendors, yeah. Imagine that, okay, when you're actually able to have good bonds with them, they tend to actually be, well, let's just say more easygoing with you, right? They actually give you more concessions, as opposed to people who, let's just say, they have a very bad relationship with actually the suppliers and vendors, then the suppliers and vendors tend to be actually not so compromising. They tend to be difficult with you even, and so on. So you could say that all in all, when it comes to this thing about creating bonding and liking with others, right? Okay, for your professional and your work life, it's better to have it than not have it. Okay, right? And of course, having said that, well, a lack of bonded relationship with people, actually, they tend to add more hurdles in one's career or one's professional life. Well, having bonded relationships, on the other hand, with people, again, they actually tend to actually trigger a hurdle or dissolving effect, right? Okay. Then, because you see, most people find it at their workplace, in their professional life, well, it's actually as busy, as hard as it is already. But why make it harder by actually having like so-called, bad relationships? Why not actually have, like, for instance, a support system at the workplace itself where people like you and they support you, right? And as you can see from this slide here, there's a little picture of a halo there, right? This thing about when you're actually being liked by others, it does create this thing which psychologists call the halo effect. Halo effect. There's different way to define it, but halo effect is basically like this. Like, if let's say a particular person were to like you, the halo effect will actually be triggered inside of them, and they tend to think that, oh, okay, I like this person, I like you, right? Okay, how bad can you be in other areas? You're probably good in your own job as well. They tend to actually transfer, right? Okay, a lot of your so-called, by the virtue of the fact that they like you, right, to other arenas as well. All right. Okay. But of course, having said that, this thing about being actually able to connect with others, right, is of course has a spillover effect to your own personal life as well. Like, people who are able to build good relationships with other people in their own personal life, they have higher quality friends. Okay. They marry better. So definitely, it's not just, in this professional life, but personal as well. But, in this case, yet I'm kind of curious about one thing. Okay, let's go back to your own professional life, your own career, right? So let me ask you a question, and feel free to type your answer down into the chat box itself, right? I'm kind of curious, right, for everyone here today, like, how many years, right, have you been working in your current company, right? Your current company, your current career itself, how many years have you been working inside? Okay, let me see the response there. Okay, from chat box here, right? So actually we have, okay, numbers coming in. Like, 5 years, all right, 3, okay, 10, 23, okay, nice. Okay, let's see. Okay, highest 23. Anybody actually more than that? Okay, 22 years. All right, okay, yeah. So anybody, not in terms of years, months instead? Oh, 29. Okay, awesome. Okay, going to a year. Okay, cool. Right. So you see, as I can see here, right, some of you actually, I know it's months, some of you actually in years, like 29 years, the record here, isn't it? Right? So, but yet, here's the thing. Would I be correct to say that regardless of how many years of experience you have in your own company, right, you still be making mistakes? Would I be correct to say that? Certainly, right? Okay, like, regardless of how many years, I mean, I've seen people who are 30, 35 years veterans working in the company, right? They still have their own fair share of, they still have their own fair share of mistakes, isn't it? They still continue making mistakes, because you see, no matter what, on our most awesome, our best day ever, we are still a human being. We still actually make mistakes and so on, right? But the deal is this, right? It's not so much about whether or not you've been making mistakes, because you are human, you will make mistakes. Let's face it. It's not so much about whether you'll be making mistakes or not, you will, right? But it's a matter of what happens after the mistake, right? Will you be easily forgiven or not, is the question, isn't it, right? So when it comes to people who are more well-liked and bonded, like, they have bonds in the company itself, their colleagues, with their supervisors, right? Suppose they make a mistake. Suppose the person make a mistake, right? But you see, because of the fact that he has actually this liking and bond with others, right? The other people tend to forgive this person easier. Right. On the other hand, if let's say somebody, okay, they don't have the connection or bonds with actually the other colleagues or the superiors in the company, and the person make a mistake, guess what? Right? The other colleagues or the supervisors will see this as a chance to actually open the wound further, to sabotage and so on, right? To actually make maybe a small mistake to actually make it like as if like it's a big one and so on, right? Isn't it? Okay. So there's this particular personal aspect of it, right? That tend to actually make either a person's life at work easier or not. And again, let's refer to, again, scientific research, right? Okay, let me share with everybody here. There's a research on 2 groups of doctors, all right? Okay, and this, by the way, this research is being conducted in Toronto, right? Where they tally, right? And then they group around, actually, they try to research doctors, and they actually can group doctors into 2 groups. Okay, as you can see on screen here. Number 1, okay, they group doctors who are actually in the first group itself, and these are doctors who had been sued by their patients. They have been sued by their patients, right? Okay, and of course, you know what? Why have they been sued? Is because you see, no matter what, actually, when a doctor, right? Okay, and no matter how experienced the doctor is, sometimes they make mistakes, isn't it? They make mistakes, or sometimes they misdiagnose, okay, or malpractice, things like that, right? So these are the doctors who have been sued. But also, there are also doctors who had never been sued by their patients, never been sued, ever, never, right? Okay, so the thing is this, why is that the case? How come some doctors have been sued by their patients and some other doctors have never been sued, right? Oh, by the way, just so you know, right, both groups of doctors, it's not that the other group have not made mistakes, you know. Everything is being accounted for. Both groups make the same amount of mistakes, even the same caliber, right? So the thing is that, but yet certain doctors have never been sued despite the fact that they have made mistake. So why is that the case? Right? Okay. Is it because those doctors who have never been sued by the patients is that they are, let's just say, they are more experienced, they are more skillful? Is that the case? Right? You'd be surprised. No. Right? Okay. Again, accounted for. Actually, I know they have actually equally, I know, some skill. And in fact, to a certain extent, some doctors who had been sued by their patients, some of them are even more talented or skillful than some doctors who have never been sued. But what's the difference then? Why is it the case that some doctors have never been sued then, right? And then again, from the research, they found out one thing. They found out that the doctors who had never been sued by their patients, right, they spend on average 3 minutes longer with each patient, right? 3 minutes longer, that's all. That's all it takes for this, these 3 minutes, all it takes actually for a certain connection to be fostered and formed, okay? So the thing is like, the patients will tend to actually, all these 3 minutes is take actually for the patients to actually like the doctors better, right? And so as it turned out, put it this way, let's just say that if, let's say a patient like the doctor, right, and the doctor make a mistake, right, and of course, the patient is not happy, and maybe the patient wanted to sue the doctor, but yet the patient will be thinking and say that, hey, wait a second, okay, I have this relationship, this doctor, this connection, I like this doctor, okay, then they will feel very guilty about suing the doctor. That's why they don't sue, you see, right? But this goes back to the fact that, when it comes to people who make mistakes versus people who actually, and actually they in a way able to actually be forgiven versus people who are not, right? It comes to show that this liking and connection and bonds, right, play a big part. Yep. So which is why actually, whether you have an easier time at the workplace or you have a problematic time at the workplace, it comes down to this one thing, bonded relationships. Yep. In fact, I go as far as to say, right, your success, okay, the things that you want at the workplace itself, right, is somehow, okay, the determining factor, okay, is decided by your amount of bonded relationships that you have in the workplace itself, right? It comes down to that one thing. All right. Okay. So for that, okay, let's actually move into the meat and potatoes of things, right? Today, I want to share with you, okay, given the limited time that we have, I want to actually share 3 secrets with everybody today, right? So this session, secret number 1, I'm going to talk about liking triggers, right? And of course, we're going to move into secret number 2. How are you going to turn certain, for instance, certain relationships that's a little bit hostile, okay, or the person is actually a little bit sour, okay, into actually something that's into a friendly one, okay? And of course, there's secret number 3, words that foster a better relationship. There's certain words you can say, okay, and to actually, in a way, form actually better relationships and cause better liking in others. Okay, so you see, fast and furious was the first one, okay, and we're going to do it rapid fire style, one secret after another, okay, different concepts and so on. First one, liking triggers. And of course, before I go into this, wondering, like, personally for you, have you ever asked yourself this question, right? Okay, how easy is it for people to like you, right? Have you ever asked yourself that question, right? Okay, how easy is it for people to like you? Is it super easy? I mean, don't know personally, actually, that's, you can keep it private. Okay, you can think to yourself. Maybe some of you are thinking, yeah, it's quite easy. I get along well with people and so on. Or maybe there are some people who think, actually, maybe not so much. In the past, that people would tell me, it's not very easy for people to like me because of the fact that when I don't smile, I look very fierce and things like that, right? But yet, the thing is this, okay, whether you think it's actually easy or not easy for people to like you, but is it totally impossible, right? Is it impossible for people to like you? Of course not, right? Of course not. I'm sure there are people in your life who like you, right? But yet, I believe also that in your life, you come across some people whom, you just interact with the person for just a few minutes and you feel that you like this person, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, so things like that happen. Now, having said that, okay, if you think about it, this feeling that you have, sometimes you feel, I just like this person, it's just an emotion, isn't it? You just feel so. Sometimes you're not able to verbalize it or explain it. You just feel so. So guess what? If you feel so, right, liking is just an emotion, isn't it? And therein lies the good news. If liking is just an emotion, guess what? Emotions can be triggered. Yep. Let me say that again. If liking is just an emotion, emotions can be triggered. Right? Of course, the question is how. So there we're gonna actually explore a few of these, all right? Okay, like liking can be triggered by these few things, right? Okay, and of course, this in the universe of actually triggering liking, that's not all there is. But of course, in the interest of time, I may not be able to explain everything. But right now, just actually understand, like, first of all, like, we got like appearance and visual triggers. Like, okay, that could actually in a way cause liking to happen. It's like, what is this thing about appearance or visual triggers? Right, simply put, it's actually, for instance, that certain things that is observable by other people, they can see, right? Okay, like for instance, and this actually then comes down to, it could be a few things. That could include things like even your dressing, okay, Okay, dressing can play a part, you'd be surprised. Okay, or even the way you smile as well. Researchers, believe it or not, like the researchers have actually found out, right? Actually, a particular way of smiling that actually causes you to be more genuine versus actually another type of smile that doesn't, right? Okay, so it could be other things like appearance, okay, and so physical appearance play a big part, okay, and also like for instance, again, dressing, and believe it or not, another thing, okay, eye contact. Yep. The proper use of eye contact, right, is considered a bit of a visual trigger that can, in a way, trigger liking in others as well. Okay, so different like psychological things like this. And actually, right now, I'll just pick one thing. Like when it comes to eye contact, right? Okay, let me just give an example. Like somebody who's who's actually, I would say, a champion of using eye contact is actually this guy here, right? So pop quiz, who's this guy? I mean, he doesn't look like this now, but this is actually photo from about like 20 plus years ago. Who's this guy? Pop quiz, y'all know? Right? Okay, so let's see now. Okay, look at the chat box. Okay, no, Kennedy. Oh no, actually, that guy, Bill Clinton, correct? Okay, Bill Clinton. Yes, Bill Clinton, right? Okay, so here's the thing. Bill Clinton, the ex-president of the United States. And here's the thing. You might like him or you may not like him. Or if you don't like him, right, I can totally understand why. Right? Because when he was president of the United States at that time, right, during his tenure as a US president, he did something naughty, right? Okay, so a lot of people don't like him and so on, yeah, okay. But here's the thing, after he's done being president, you know that he's still very active in the political field. Like he go for fundraisers, he go for campaigns and so on, right? And here's the thing, there are many different accounts, right, from people who initially, when they're at these fundraisers, they met Bill Clinton. Initially, these people, they don't like Bill Clinton. No, they don't like him, right? But after talking to Bill Clinton for just a couple of minutes, 1 minute or so, right? These people, they'll just change their minds, They'll just say, hey, you know what? Actually, I know after talking to Bill Clinton for just 1 minute, right? I initially go from don't liking him, now I like him a lot, right? So what is his secret? What is he like? Does he have like some voodoo magic that can cause people to go from don't liking him to liking him? No, okay. A lot of things are just psychological, right? What he's very good at, believe it or not, according to a lot of the behavioral researchers, is the fact that he's an expert in using eye contact to trigger people to like him, right? He has a certain way of using his eyes, right? That somehow is able to, well, sort of like, get people to actually be drawn to him and so on. Okay. In fact, right now, I'm going to actually show you a video, okay? And you can actually watch this with a, excuse me. You can watch this with a particular eye contact point of view in mind, okay? Now, to give you a bit of a background about this particular video, and this video is actually from about 20 plus years ago, and two people are vying to become president. You see actually the person on the left-hand side, he's George Bush Sr., right? He's trying to become, he's trying to actually, and Bill Clinton, they're both trying to vie to become president. And usually when two people try to become president, right, they usually go for those type of parliamentary debates. They go into this particular conference room, and actually there'll be people from the audience to ask them questions, right? So the background of this particular clip is that, okay, at first, a particular lady, a particular lady actually asked a question from the floor. Lady from the floor asked a question. Okay, at first, George Bush Sr., right, answered the question. And I want you to look at this clip with an eye contact point of view. Like, I want you to see, like a lot of the behavioral researchers, when they research this clip, they find that George Bush Sr., he tend to actually, when he talk to a lady, his eyes like tend to be a bit off, right? But yet, after he's done addressing that, Bill Clinton come in and address the lady's question. And I want you again to watch this with an eye contact point of view. See how he uses his eyes, right? You can see that Bill Clinton is very connected to the lady. Actually, the way he uses his eyes, right, is very connected. Later when you watch, you can even see at some point, the lady is even like mesmerized, taken in really like, oh, like that, Okay, later you watch and you know what I mean, right? Okay, so again, like this clip has been actually used by behavioral researchers as a bit of a monumental case study. So how about this? I play this clip right now. It's about 4 minutes. Okay, so check it out. But yet again, it's very visual. Just check it out and look at this from an eye contact standpoint. Look at it as to how each of these individuals are used how they use their eyes with the lady. All right? Okay, so here goes.
We have a question right here. Yes, how has the national debt personally affected each of your lives? As a president, how do you honestly try to cure the economic problems of the common people if you have no experience what's ailing them?
The national debt affects everybody. Obviously, it has a lot to do with interest rates. It has.
On a personal basis, how has it affected you? Has it affected you personally?
Well, I'm sure it has. I love my grandchildren. I want to think that they're going to be able to afford an education. I think that that's an important part of being a parent. Maybe I won't get it wrong. Are you suggesting that if somebody has means, that the national debt doesn't affect them? I'm not sure I get it. Help me with the question and I'll try to answer.
I've had friends that have been laid off from jobs. I know people who cannot afford to pay the mortgage on their homes, their car payment. I have personal problems with the national debt, but how has it affected you? And if you have no experience in it, how can you help us if you don't know what we're feeling?
I think she means more the recession, the economic problems today the country faces, rather than the
you ought to be in the White House for a day and hear what I hear and see what I see and read the mail I read and touch the people that I touch from time to time. I was in the Lomax AME church. It's a black church just outside of Washington, D.C. And I read in the bulletin about teenage pregnancies, about the difficulty that families are having to make ends meet. I talk to parents. I mean, you got to care. Everybody cares if people aren't doing well. But I don't think it's fair to say you haven't had cancer, therefore you don't know what it's like. I don't think it's fair to say, whatever it is, if you haven't been hit by it personally, but everybody's affected by the debt because of the tremendous interest that goes into paying on that debt. Everything's more expensive. Everything comes out of your pocket and my pocket. So it's that. But I think in terms of the recession, of course you feel it when you're president of the United States. That's why I'm trying to do something about it by stimulating the export, investing more, better education system. Thank you. I'm glad to clarify.
Tell me how it's affected you again.
Um,
You know people who lost their jobs,
yeah.
lost their homes.
uh-huh.
Well, I've been governor of a small state for 12 years. I'll tell you how it's affected me. Every year, Congress and the president sign laws that make us do more things, it gives us less money to do it with. I see people in my state, middle-class people, their taxes have gone up in Washington and their services have gone down, while the wealthy have gotten tax cuts. I have seen what's happened in this last 4 years when, in my state, when people lose their jobs, there's a good chance I'll know them by their names. When a factory closes, I know the people who ran it. When the businesses go bankrupt, I know them. And I've been out here for 13 months, meeting in meetings just like this ever since October, with people like you all over America. People that have lost their jobs, lost their livelihood, lost their health insurance. What I want you to understand is the national debt is not the only cause of that. It is because America has not invested in its people. It is because we have not grown. It is because we've had 12 years of trickle-down economics. We've gone from first to 12th in the world in wages. We've had 4 years where we produced no private sector jobs. Most people are working harder for less money than they were making 10 years ago. It is because we are in the grip of a failed economic theory. And this decision you're about to make better be about what kind of economic theory you want. Not just people saying, I want to go fix it, but what are we going to do? What I think we have to do is invest in American jobs, American education, control American healthcare costs, and bring the American people together again.
Okay, so my friends, did you see that? Right? Did you see that? You can see the contrast, isn't it? The contrast between both candidates itself. In this case, there's again like George Bush Senior. George Bush Senior, when he uses eyes, actually it's a little bit like what they call shifty eyes, right? So it doesn't connect and all like that. Okay, it's like kind of like you just have this particular feel that something's off, isn't it? But when it comes to Bill Clinton, on the other hand, right, what's interesting is that, Bill Clinton, actually, you can see that, he's like, at various points of time, he's actually very connected to the lady. His eyes actually are maintaining actually very comfortable eye contact, right? Okay, so you see, even things like that, he used the right way, like eye contact can actually trigger liking in others as well, okay? Right, in fact, in the so-called, eye contact world, right, they actually have a name for this particular technique. They call it jelly string eyes. You can see that actually when Bill Clinton is actually talking to the lady, right? It's as if the eyes actually have have for instance, from your eyes to the other person's eyes, right? They have these invisible jelly strings that's actually in a way sort of attached to each other, and it refuses to break. Even when Bill Clinton is actually swerving his head sort of left and right, his eyes are still very connected to the lady, right? Okay, so things like that actually could sort of in a way even be triggering. Okay, for instance, liking others as well. Okay, so of course, use this how you will, right? But use this responsibly as well, because I wouldn't want anybody to use this and then you cause the other person to fall in love with you or something, right? Okay, right. Okay, so what's next? Next is this. Okay, believe it or not, the next thing is commonalities can also trigger liking. Yes, commonalities when actually there are two people, okay, when you in a way interact with the other person, right? You all found that you have something in common with each other. Yeah, okay, that could trigger liking in the other person as well. Okay, commonalities. But here's the thing. Okay, I know you might be thinking about this. Like, what if there was this one time where you actually go out, you maybe interact with this particular person, could be a colleague or somebody, right? And somehow, when you interact with this person, okay, after a few minutes of talking, you find that you and the person have nothing in common. Nothing, right? Everything the person like, you don't like. Everything you like, the person don't like. Nothing in common. Does that mean it's game over? Right? Oh, luckily not, right? Okay, there's still a way to go around it. There's different ways to actually trigger liking, right? Okay, even if at first sight you all have nothing in common with each other, okay? I will explain that, okay, using the next slide, okay? But right now, hang on for a while. I will actually talk about this next thing first, like compliments triggers, okay? Compliment, when you praise the other person, it could actually trigger liking the other person as well, okay? Right? So actually, of course, in the giving, actually, for instance, praise correctly, I can do that. But of course, having said that, there is actually, a bit of a caveat, which is that there's an observed opposite effect when it's overdone, right? In other words, you cannot over-compliment. You cannot. When you actually compliment someone, you praise a person, right? There must be a happy interval before the next praise itself. Because if you keep praising, over-praising itself, right? Okay, that will backfire. I mean, put it this way. I mean, imagine this. Imagine if, let's say, you are okay, you have your workplace itself, let's just say, your professional workplace, right? Your workplace, you have this particular co-worker. Maybe the person is a little bit like what we call the auntie character, right? Okay, so what happens is that day when you go to the work, it so happens that you're wearing your best shirt, okay, your best shirt, okay, or your best blouse, okay? So as you're wearing your best shirt, right, you go to the office, okay, and so happens at 9 a.m., you enter the office, right? And then the auntie saw you, right? And say, hey, your shirt very nice. I like your shirt. It's very nice, right? Okay, so that's 9 a.m., right? Okay, so at 9:30 a.m., when you go to the office pantry to mix yourself some coffee, right? So happens that the auntie is there also. And the auntie tell you, hey, just now I tell you, right? Okay, I like your shirt a lot. Very nice, Okay, I like, it looks so beautiful and all. Then she tugging your shirt, okay, all those things like that, right? And then, okay, that's at 9:30. At 11 a.m., as you're walking down the hallway, by some sure chance, the auntie is walking the other direction. And then she tell you, hey, I really, really, really like your shirt, right? Now, how would you feel about the auntie, right? You tend to actually feel like, pretty phony, isn't it? Right? Phony, and then like to a certain extent quite annoying also, isn't it? So which is why actually this thing about overpraising cannot be overdone. There must be, again, like some sort of a happy medium to this, right? Okay, a happy interval before actually the next praise itself. And also another thing to take note of, which is like, try not to compliment on what everyone else is complimenting on, right? Try not to do that. If you suspect, like, for instance, the other person, right? Okay, like, like for instance, like, it could be a co-worker, a colleague, or maybe it's a lady. So happens that the person is actually wearing, is dressing very well that day, right? And she looks very pretty or beautiful that day. You know what? These are the words you should avoid using. Right? That's right. These are the words you should avoid using. Like for instance, hey, you look so pretty today, or look so beautiful today, right? These are the words you should avoid by virtue of the fact that other people have probably said that to her already, right? Okay. Besides, I mean, if let's say a particular person, right, is pretty or beautiful, do you think she suddenly just wake up one day prang and she's beautiful? No, right? She's actually like that all her life. So she's been hearing words like this, pretty or beautiful, all her life. So you shouldn't actually be using the same type of words, right, that you suspect other people be using to actually praise the person. Okay. So instead of actually, but how it goes is this. Again, behavioral researchers has found that actually the way to work around this is that you should compliment on what we call the intangibles or the invisibles, right? Instead of actually saying things like you're pretty or beautiful, it could be other things like, for instance, the intangibles or the invisibles. Like it could be like, for instance, what are some examples of such intangibles? Like it could be the person's creativity, the person's energy, the person's smartness, the person's intelligence, the person's proactiveness, things like this. All right. Okay. So all these actually I tend to actually work much better than say like certain other physical aspects. Yeah. Okay. So by the way, I haven't forgotten, right? Remember earlier on we talked about this thing that if let's say like you had talked to the other person and you're hoping that, well, you actually will bond with the person, but what if after talking to the person, you feel that you and the person have nothing in common? Nothing in common. How? Right? If you and the person have nothing in common, does that mean it's game over? Right? Luckily not, right? Okay, at first sight, if you have nothing in common with the person, okay, there could be actually something else that you could do, right? Okay, so here goes. I want to actually refer you to this particular research. Okay, I like to call it overlapping commonalities, right? And I put here how overlapping commonalities can cause bonding to happen, right? And the best way to explain this is to refer to this particular researcher. And this research involves a particular football team, okay, a soccer team. Okay, so you can see on screen here, right? Okay, Man U, Manchester United. Okay, so I was wondering, any of you here today, they are Man U fans? Any Manchester United fans? If you are, feel free to actually put in the chat box. Yes, I am, and so on, right? Okay, so I got to admit one thing. I don't watch soccer, so I know nuts about soccer, but at the very least, sometimes, you know, when it comes to actually reading the sports pages and so on, yeah, okay, at the very least, actually, we got to know bits and pieces of news like that, okay? Like, for instance, okay, even for you, if let's say you don't watch soccer, right, but at the very least, you should probably sort of like know, right? Like, if I were to ask you, you know, when it comes to Man U, Manchester United, right, who is the particular rival team, the century-old arch rival when it comes to Manchester United? Who's Manchester United's century-old rival? Okay, the arch rival of Man U. Who is that? You all know? If any of you know, actually, please go ahead and put in the chat box. Okay, that particular team are Liverpool. Bingo, Liverpool, yes. Liverpool is that particular century-old arch rival, right? Okay, when it comes to Man U, okay? And you know what? Each of their respective, fans, like Man U fans and Liverpool fans, you know, they don't get along. They don't get along. Like touch wood, luckily in Singapore here, right, we don't have such cases happening yet. But you know, overseas, there are many cases whereby, you know, Man U fans and Liverpool fans, they come to blows, you know, right? They have like fights and all those things, even stabbing incidents, right? So, but the thing is that, okay, yeah, so these two teams, they don't get along. They're like rivals, yeah? Okay, so here's the thing. I want to actually refer to you this particular experiment, right, okay, that, you know, involves a bunch of Man U fans. And please, okay, you know, I would like to affix your attention on screen because I take a liberty of, I know you could say this is a bit of a cartoon or animation here. Please go ahead. I know. Okay, check this out. Okay, so in a room, what happened in the experiment that they did that time is that they filled the room full of Man U fans. So check this out. Imagine these are all Man U fans, right? They're in the room packed with Man U fans. And then the host come into the room itself and they start to address the fans, okay, asking them, say, hey, Man U fans, gather around. Okay, gather around. Let me ask you, okay, what is it about being a Man U fan that you like? What is it about being a Man U fan that you enjoy? And guess what? Okay, for that, like all the Man U fans, they start to actually rah up about Man U. They say, oh, it's because, you know, Man U is actually the greatest sport. It's the greatest, team on earth. Okay, it's the greatest soccer team on earth. Man U has the greatest managers. Man U has actually the greatest, players and all like that. Well, they keep rah up about, hyping up about, okay, Man U. Yep. So after they are done, what happens is this. After they are done, okay, what happens is that the entire Man U fans, they've been actually split into three batches, okay? And each of those batches, right, they are told to actually go to the next building. They were told to walk there to a nearby building, right? So that's a whole plan for them, right? But of course, what these Man U fans didn't know is that the researchers behind the scenes, they planted a stooge, okay, near the building itself. And the whole idea is like this stooge are their own actor, right? And the whole idea is that, which is actually when the Man U fans got closer, right? Approaching closer, they actually are going to do this. They're going to actually, the stooge is going to pretend to fall down. It's going to pretend to fall. And then from there, the experimenters behind the scenes, they're hiding behind the bushes somewhere, try to observe what will happen from there. All right? So that's what they did. Okay, so here goes. Okay, so actually enough for that. The first batch of Man U fans were being released in the first configuration itself, right? The first batch of Man U fans were being released, and the stooge is actually standing by, right? And the stooge is actually wearing a Man U jersey or your Man U shirt. It's wearing that. Okay, so what happened in this configuration is this. When the Man U fans got closer, and closer, what happened is that the stooge, after that, pretend to fall in front of them, right? And guess what? In this particular configuration, what happened is that the Man U fans, they help him up because they see, hey, our own people, hey, help him up, right? Okay, they say another one of us, okay, they help him up, okay, they see the affinity there. Now, in the second configuration, what happens is that this stooge, right, is actually the second batch of Man U fans are being released, and this stooge is actually wearing a plain t-shirt, So the batch of Man U fans got closer, the stooge pretend to fall in front of them, and what happened in this configuration is that the Man U fans, they just basically just walk past, okay, they just walk past, they kind of ignore him, okay, right? So because, in a way, they just see that it's just some random person, they don't really feel the affinity there, so majority of them just walk past, okay, they don't help him up, they just walk past. All right, so that's the second configuration. Now, in the third configuration, I think you can see where this is going, right? Okay, so the Man U fans got released, and the stooge, what is he wearing now? He's wearing a Liverpool shirt or Liverpool jersey. Okay, right. So of course the Man U fans got closer. The stooge pretend to fall. What do you think happened this time around? Right? Maybe some people guess, did they kick him and all those things like that? Okay. Well, luckily not. Okay, what happened is that the majority of them just walk past. They kind of like see, they don't really feel the affinity of this person. They wouldn't think, oh, this one rival team. I know they just walk past. Of course, in their mind, they're thinking, hey, I'll be good, this person fall down. Right? Okay, right. So basically that's that. Okay, so here's the thing. This is actually how the experiment is being set up. But it's not done yet. The experimenters reset the whole experiment, okay? And then they got a new batch of Man U fans to occupy the room, a new batch of Man U fans. Now the host come into the picture and come into the room, right? And this time round, the host asked these Man U fans a different question. You remember the original question they asked the previous batch was that, what is it about being a Man U fan that you like, right? This time around, the host asked these Man U fans, he said this, hey, everybody gather around. Let me ask you, okay, what is it about being a soccer fan that you like? What is it about being a soccer fan that you enjoy? Yep. And then guess what? All these Man U fans will say, oh, it's because, soccer is the greatest an activity on earth. Soccer is the greatest sport on earth and so on. They keep hyping up and rah-rah about, soccer. Okay. So after they are done, same as before, okay, they are divided into actually a few batches. Okay. The first batch actually being released. And then the same as before, the stooge is standing by wearing a Man U shirt. And then as the batch of Man U fans got closer, the stooge pretend to fall. And no surprises there. Okay. The Man U fans help him up. They see the affinity there. Right. Okay, so in the second configuration, same as before, second batch of Man U fans got released, Stooge wearing a plain t-shirt, same as before. And so what happens is that as the Man U fans got closer, Stooge began to fall. Again, no surprises there. Okay, they kind of just walk past. They don't feel the affinity there. Okay, they walk past. Now, in the third configuration, right, this is where the miracle happened. Yep, so the Stooge is wearing a Liverpool shirt. As the batch of Man U fans got released and they got closer, Stooge pretended to fall in front of them. Okay, and then guess what? In this particular configuration, majority of the Man U fans, they help him up, right? They help him up. Okay, so how come, right? So you see, what happened is actually is how you prompt the other person to think. Yeah, it's how you prompt them to think we have this commonality. I mean, initially, if let's say you prime the person to think that, hey, we are just Man U fans, right? Guess what? The Man U fans would just think that, okay, we're just Man U. People outside of us, okay, like Arsenal, Liverpool, they are just our rivals and all those things like that. So they're kept within themselves. But you see, if you actually, in a way, prime them to think that all of us, a bunch of soccer-loving folks, right? You know what you'll see? The Man U fans will see like this, will think like this, will say that, okay, yep, we're Man U, there's Arsenal and Liverpool. All of us, we are all one bunch of soccer-loving family, right? So it's overlapping commonalities. It's how you rope the person to think, to make them feel that, hey, we are actually all together. We actually have this overlapping bond, you see, right? That's how you see, even things like that, it could cause two groups, right? Two people who actually hated each other to actually have this bond. So it actually can be used practically for yourself as well. I mean, think about the fact that it could be used like next time around, you have a new team member join the group. It could be, the person could be from a different background, very different from yours, okay, but still you can build this overlapping bonds and commonality. So a little sort of like a fast exercise is this. It's just about like, the so-called like the blueprint for this is actually, first of all, of course, through a little bit of a chitter chatter, right? You find out the person's like certain things that it could be the person's passion or pastime, or what are those favorite activities like sports teams and so on, preoccupations. And then, of course, you pair it up with yours. What is your own passion and pastime and so on, right? If there are certain things that's actually a one-to-one match, right? Go ahead, that's a commonality. But if you don't have it, if you find that the person's passion and yours are nothing in common, right? Don't worry. You just think one category upwards, and that's how you can find that so-called overlapping commonalities. Example, if one of these days I go out, actually maybe I talk to a particular person, I feel like connecting with the person, but after talking to the person for a few minutes, I find that everything the person like, I don't like. How? Right? Okay. Like say, for instance, it could be I ask the person very innocently, I say, hey, what are some of those things you like to do during the weekends or after work? Right? So maybe the person say, I like fishing. So he likes fishing, right? Let's just say that he likes fishing. And let's just say hypothetically, I don't like fishing. Let's just say that. I don't like fishing. I hate fishing. I don't even like fishes. Let's just say that, right? So is that game over already? He likes fishing, I don't. Does that mean it's game over? No. See, here's the thing. Like say my own passion or pastime. Let's just say I like hiking. Let's just say that I like hiking. So that person like fishing, I like hiking. So, okay, in this case, think one category upwards. Now, my friends, what is that one category, right? That in a way encompasses both fishing and hiking. What's that one category? Outdoor activities, isn't it? Right? Outdoor activities. So there you go. That's the overlapping commonality. So the person say that he likes fishing, you can basically go like this. You say, hey, fishing, that's interesting. Because you see, personally for me, right? I'm a fan of, hiking. So it's hard to come by people like us who are into all these outdoor activities, right? Okay. So awesome. So you see, there you go. It's how you actually in a way, prompt the person to think that we got this particular commonality, right? Okay. So like, for instance, before I move on, this particular point here about overlapping commonalities, right? Also dispel one of the biggest myths in society. Right? And the myth is that most people like to think that you and the other person must have everything in common with each other before you like each other. That's not the case. And many times it's not even the one-to-one ratio to commonality. Many times it's the overlapping commonality. And the best proof of that, think of your own best friend, right? I'm going to assume that, I mean, maybe you have a best friend, okay, right? Maybe some of you have many best friends, okay? So, but think of your bestest, your bestest friend, the man or woman, okay, the person who's actually your best friend, okay? So let me ask you, do you have everything in common with your best friend? Probably not, right? Okay. In fact, if I were to make a bet, I'm willing to bet that you and your best friend, chances are good, your character would actually probably be even different. Yep. Like, you know, me and my best friend, for instance, best friend since 1995. Like, so far, you can actually, you know, so far from this Zoom session, you can see that I'm I'm quite chatty, isn't it? But what if I tell you, my best friend, right, he's kind of like quiet one, you know, right? It's kind of quiet, like what they say, tiam one, very tiam one, very quiet, yeah, okay? So our characters are different, but yet we're best friends. We like each other. How come, right? It's because of overlapping commonalities. We actually find that there are certain things, like for instance, back in 1995, you know, that time actually we found out that actually we have this common love for certain horror movies. You know, I'm ashamed to say that, but you know, the time we're into like all these titles, Friday the 13th kind of movies. Initially we didn't know, only when we start talking about each other, then we realized we got this particular bond, you see. Then we start to actually lend to each other video cassettes. You know, we have it during the time during the 90s, lend to each other certain series in a movie and so on, things like that. And we become best friends to this day. Yeah. So it's not like, for instance, you could have everything in common with the person. Sometimes all those like overlapping commonalities, that's what triggers, hey, you know, I kind of find that I can connect with this person like that, you see, right? Okay. So there you go, right? So fast and furious to the next one, secret number 2, all right? Okay. So of course, the earlier on, secret number 1, you'll be exposed to, you know, for instance, certain ideas, right? Certain ideas of like, for instance, how to actually trigger liking. But what about this situation here? How you turn hostility into friendliness. Hostility into friendliness, okay? Like maybe a very so-called generic but yet very grounded example is the fact that, you know, in most people's offices, right? Like say there's this particular co-worker or this colleague. Like for instance, what if you've got a co-colleague who for some reason, maybe the person don't like you, right? Maybe the person like, no, don't know, for some reason, you can't even trace back. What do you say something wrong to the person like no years ago, about weeks ago or what something? You don't know, the person just don't like you, like cannot get along. But yet, how do you turn like, you know, this hostility into friendliness? How? Like you see, if you have like most people, like what most people would do is this: that they'll try to actually, for instance, go up to the person, try to talk to the person, or maybe try to do a lot of favor for that person, right? You know, I do a lot of things for you, hoping that you like me, right? Or maybe some people will even curry favor, hoping that the person will like, you know, please, I do all these things for you, please like me, and so on, right? Okay, that's what conventionally most people would do, right? But today I'm here to share with you a particular secret where it's somewhat unconventional, okay? And to make sense of that, I need to actually, you know, give you a real life situation that dates back to about, say, a few hundred years ago, okay, that actually involves this particular person here. Pop quiz, okay? Does this person look familiar to you? If he does, what's his name? Anybody know what his name is, right? Put in your chat box if you actually know what his name is. Okay, okay, let me just check. What's his name? Anybody know, right? Okay. By the way, let me just -1, right? This person is not Shakespeare. I know that in the past people say, is this Shakespeare? I know during that time people, the hairstyle is all the same and all like that, right? Okay, so we got Lincoln. Okay, Ben, there you go, Mozart. Okay, now even though, yeah, I mean, like, no, they had the same hairstyle during that time, isn't it? Benjamin Franklin. Yes, that's the correct answer. Ben Franklin. Good old Ben Franklin. Okay, so Ben Franklin, let me tell you, during his lifetime, right? Okay, he's a very prolific and very productive person. He's an author. He's a poet. He's a politician, right? He's an inventor. You know, we should thank this guy because, you know, during rainy days, he prevents us from getting struck by lightning because he's the inventor of the lightning rod. This guy, Ben Franklin, yes, very prolific during his lifetime. So, but anyway, like I told you, one of those many things that he plays, his many roles he plays, that he's a politician, right? So as a politician, you know what they do? As a politician, he of course has to go to the Parliament House to actually present his policies, his points of views, right? Just like Singapore, the same thing, in the Parliament House. But you see, during that time, right, in the Parliament House, when Ben Franklin, like he's actually as a politician, when he presents his points of views, right, there'll always be the opposition, right? The opposition party. And the opposition party here got this particular gentleman, like this joker guy, right? This joker guy who is always actually against Ben Franklin, you know? Like, no matter what Ben Franklin say, that particular joker, that the guy, right, will actually be always tearing him down. No matter what big or small thing Ben Franklin say, you know, right? Ben Franklin can be saying one thing, right? And the other person will be actually turning to him and say, Ben Franklin, that's not true. Okay, I adamantly disagree with you. Wow, very hostile. Yeah. So you see, and this goes on for multiple rounds. And Ben Franklin was actually thinking to his mind, man, this is actually, I know, wow, very bad. Because I got this particular opposition party, right? This person, this joker guy, this gentleman, right? Who's actually, you know, wow, very against me and all like that. So Ben Franklin was thinking, how can I turn this around? How can I turn this particular hostility, right, into something else, into a friendship, right? So Ben Franklin did something a little bit unconventional. okay, a bit unconventional, where instead of going to that joker, that gentleman guy, right, instead of going to that person and try to do a lot of nice things for you, I hope that you like me, he doesn't do that. Instead, Ben Franklin, okay, go up to this particular guy, this joker guy, right, and ask for a favor. He asked for a small favor, right? Because he knows that this particular gentleman, this joker guy, right, in his house, he has this particular rare book in his library collection. So Ben Franklin went up to him and very nicely asked and said, hey, I understand that you got this particular book in your library collection. Would it be okay if you lend it to me for a few days? I promise you that I'll return to you by this Friday, right? Because it's such a small favor, that particular gentleman guy, that joker, actually agreed. They said, okay, sure, no problem. He lent the book to Ben Franklin. And you know what? From that day onwards, okay, the next time when these two gentlemen meet each other in the Parliament House, I gotta tell you, a miracle happened, man. A miracle happened. That joker guy, right, who initially was very adamantly against Ben Franklin, very hostile towards him, right? Now, actually, start to treat Ben Franklin very nicely, start to talk to him with a lot of like courtesy, okay, we're very polite, talk to him like as if he's a friend like that. And in fact, from that day onwards, right, these two gentlemen, they became good friends. They became friends. In fact, they became good friends for life. Right? So for this particular effect here, right, a lot of the psychologists has even given it a name. They call it the Ben Franklin effect. The Ben Franklin effect. You can even Google it and find out the Ben Franklin effect, right? Which is actually a very unconventional tactic, okay? In this case, very unconventional strategy, where again, it's very different from the usual way of doing things, right? Conventionally, if let's say another person is hostile, then we try to do nice things, a lot of favors for that person, right? Okay, hoping the person will like us. But in this case, it's not. Okay, actually, Ben Franklin, like in this case, actually asked the person for a small favor. Paradoxically, the person will actually like you in this case, you see, right? Okay, paradoxically, the person will actually like you. But the question is, how come? How come this Ben Franklin effect work? I mean, put it this way, psychologically, let's actually explore how it works, all right? Let's explore how it works. I mean, imagine, let's say one day there's this particular person you don't like, okay? This person you don't like, right? So you don't like the person, but if you do a small favor for this person, you know what will happen in your mind? If you do a small favor for this person, your mind will very unconsciously self-justify and think, right? And think, hey, wait a second, why am I doing this for him, for this person, right? It's probably because that this person has some redeeming qualities that I like. That's why I'm doing this for him, right? Or else, why would I be doing this, right? The mind will actually, in a way, create a perception that, hey, I'm doing this for this person because I probably like this person, okay? Right? So that's what happened to you also. You should actually, in a way, right? In this case, a very, very unconventional thing. Ask the person, right? Maybe the person was hostile for a small favor. Small one, not big one, not to worry. I'm not asking you to buy the person a Lamborghini or something like that. No, right? But small little favors will help you, right? So maybe you're thinking that maybe for this particular strategy here, it's actually something that happened a few hundred years ago, right? But what about now? Oh, I'm glad to tell you that. Even in modern day, this Ben Franklin effect is still there. It's a little psychological component that exists in human brains, right? Okay, where basically you see here on screen itself, this is basically what? A game show setting, right? So let me explain to you an experiment that's been done in the past. Okay, that time they created this particular makeshift game show outside of a university campus, a makeshift game show where it's made of wooden planks and all. Okay, very shoddy, just like, wooden planks and all. Okay, and there'll be a host there. And then the whole idea is this, there'll be random passerbys who walk past, right? They can just actually stop to actually play the game. The host will ask them some questions. And if the passerbys, actually the players, right, they actually got the questions correctly, they answered correctly, they win some money. So it's some small amount of prize money. Basically, that's the whole idea. So sure enough, people come and play, participants come and play and so on, right? And that's it. But you see, there's also another group of people that they come and play. Okay, they play, they answer the question correctly, the host will give them some money, right? But you know what happens is that towards the end, right, the host will do something different. The host will go up to this particular group of people and ask them, say that, hey, thank you, congratulations for winning, okay? And by the way, I just want to actually let you know something, which is that you see this particular game show that we have here today, right? It's basically a bit of a makeshift game show, because you see, what happened is that now it's like, it's not actually funded by anybody. The university did not fund this, and then the nobody fund this. Basically, it's like no company sponsor this. So I have to use my own money to fund this. I have to use my life savings to build this thing here. So having said that, I'm a bit ashamed to ask, but would it be okay if you return the prize money to me, right? He asked that. And guess what? Actually, when that happened, eventually, because it's such a small thing, a lot of those players, right? Because it's such a small amount of money, a lot of them actually just return the money. Okay, they do that. And after that, another person come along and ask every player who's ever played the game, every player, ask them this question. They say, hey, let me ask you, what do you think of the host? Right? What do you think of the host? And guess what? Okay, the group that actually returned the prize money to the host actually like the host better than other people who have not returned the money. Weird, huh? I mean, if they return the prize money, by right, they should be very begrudging, right? Okay, I got to return money. Damn, right? They should be feeling like that, isn't it? But no. What happened instead is this. Ben Franklin effect. Because, you know, if let's say they return the prize money to the host, it's essentially doing the host a small favor, right? Returning the money. So it will trigger that thing, say that, hey, I'm doing this for the particular host. Okay, I must have liked the host for me to do that. It create this particular perception, right? So which is why when you ask the person for a small favor, right, you trigger this thing actually in that particular person's brain, right? Okay, so use this how you will. And so, final secret for today, words that foster better relationships, okay? Words. Okay, words are, okay, and by the way, these are words that you can use either verbally or sometimes in writing as well. But you see, words are, okay, the nature of them is that, you know, they have power. Certain words that's actually spoken or actually used in a certain way, right, will actually have a certain effect. Used differently will have a different effect. That's why words, right, can be used to connect with others. By the same token, they can, in a way, destroy, okay, kind of like connections as well. Right? So to give an example, what I mean by that, right, is actually, you know, check this out, okay? And by the way, this is actually from an actual employee welcome email. Imagine the employee, right, join the company the first day, they receive this email, okay? So check this out. By the way, I won't name the company, but you see, actually, when they send to new employees, this particular email, it goes like this. As a staff of ABC XYZ company, you are mandatory required to refrain from conducting practices that would tarnish our good name. Failing to adhere can result in immediate dismissal and possible criminal prosecution. I mean, imagine if it was you, first day you receive an email like that. Does it seem to be like, no, there's a connection that the company want to forge with you? Does it seem like the company want to foster some sort of connection and a relationship with you? No, right? I mean, this thing is not even passive aggressive, it's aggressive, isn't it? So would it be better though, if let's say the word is, the email is reworded like that, like for instance, hey, thank you for being a valued member of XYZ family, right? As we put our highest trust in all members, okay, we are confident you can continue our tradition of good practices here and play an important role in making everyone shine. Yep. So you can see the difference, right? In fact, from a feeling standpoint, you can even feel so. From emotion standpoint, like one of them actually makes you feel a little bit more connected to them. One doesn't, isn't it? So that's what I mean when it comes to actually words itself, right? In your daily usage of words, the same thing would happen. Like for instance, there are certain words for better or for worse, right? They can actually form better connection and liking with the other person, more warmth, and some words not so much. Case in point, have you ever come across these words like this, right? Sometimes receive email or text like that, right? You can, like, for instance, you know, seen words like this, like the file is attached for your perusal, yeah? Or like when you send something to the person, some information, the person just come back, noted, right? Okay, or details below, or as per our last conversation, right? So, okay, here's the thing. Taken the wrong way, right? Okay, like these words actually, you know, in a way might not actually, you know, form a bridge between the other person. But there's different ways to actually to reword this, so that actually the other person will actually will somehow feel a little bit more connected to you and so on, right? Okay, in other words, there are certain words that actually cause the person to feel more warm. Okay, so what are such words like this? So let's actually maybe start with the first one. Like, okay, the file is attached for your perusal. Okay, which by the way, as a bit of a tip, if you actually want to sound a little bit more, you know, actually in a way that could cause more bonding with other people, right? More rapport with other people, right? I want you to maybe in your text itself or in your emails, right? Pretend like you're having a conversation with the person, right? A conversation with the person. Like maybe in this case, for instance, the file is attached for your perusal. Let me ask you, do you talk to your friends like that? Yeah, like for instance, one day you have a friend, you send a file to the person and you say, oh, the file is being attached for your perusal. Do you do that? No, right? Somehow, actually, you know, it's actually, if you want to actually make it sound a little bit more sort of connective, right? It will be more conversational, isn't it? So example, instead of saying the file is attached for a perusal, it can be rewarded as, I've attached the file here, please take a look, for instance, yeah? Okay, so it sounds a little bit more conversational and casual. Of course, some people ask me, but I mean, like, no, in that case, if I'm using like certain conversational style with actually, for instance, with my boss, right? How? Like, okay, of course, when it comes to your boss or high ups, right, you adjust your casual level accordingly. Of course, nobody's asking you to say, hey dude, how's it going? No, right? Okay, so you adjust that particular sort of like in a casual factor, right, the casual aspect of it accordingly, right? But just in a way, treat it as you're having a conversation with the person. That will actually sound a bit more connective. Or how about this one? Noted, right? Well, so, I mean, too many of these actually receive. You might be thinking, oh, the person actually is the person being a little bit like impatient with me or something like that. Okay, being a bit curt with me. All right. So instead of noted, what can you say? How can you reword this? Okay, let me give a suggestion. One thing you can how you can reword is this one. Okay, a little bit more words, but it's okay, right? Thank you, I've read and taken note of your previous message, right? A little bit more connective, isn't it? Thank you, I've read and taken note of your previous message. Yeah, a bit more warm to that. Okay, or how about this? Details below, right? Details below. How do you reword that? Okay, so it could be like this, like for instance, just actually an extra few words, that's all. Okay, the details are as follow, right? The details are as follow. Yeah, okay, or how about this one? As per our last conversation, right? Okay, again, taken the wrong way, you may think the person is being impatient or something, okay? Like it's as if, like, you know, as per our last conversation, we talk about this, you idiot, right? Okay, so how can you make it a little bit more friendly? Okay, so here's the thing, just again, a switch of a few words. Okay, it's like during our last conversation, that's it. During our previous conversation, actually we discussed about and talk about this and so on, right? Okay, so actually that would tend to somehow certain words tend to actually in a way cushion, all right, certain things much better, right? Okay, so these are just some example words, but if I were to actually talk about like your daily situations, okay, and by the way, this is the final slide for you, okay, the final idea for you for today, okay, what about in situations or for everyday usage? I mean, put it this way, I believe that on an everyday basis, sometimes you do nice things for people, right? And sometimes people do nice things for you. And here's the thing, at each juncture, what should you respond to that? Like say, for instance, when actually people do something nice for you, right? When people do you a favor, okay? Like it could be a colleague or somebody do something nice for you, right? You may want to add this note in. You may want to say this, say, hey, thank you so much, I'm really grateful, right? Thank you so much, I'm really grateful, right? Guess what? Just a simple sentence, it doubles the compliance rate for new favor requests. Next time you ask the person for a favor, they're more likely to say yes, okay? So by the way, it's research by a couple of our behavioral researchers here, okay, you can check them out. But the thing is actually when they tested different sentences, this one came out tops, right? Like for instance, hey, again, people do something nice for you, just say, hey, thank you so much, I'm really grateful. Or thank you so much, I'm really thankful. I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, if people do something nice for you, why not, treat by default, really be thankful for it, right? Because some people say that, hey, you know what, Tylus, I do that all the time. When people do something nice for me, I say thank you. Yes, I say that saying thank you is common. People usually say thank you full stop, right? But the addendum of the emotion after that, that's not common. Usually, thank you, that's it. But in this case, just a few more words, thank you, I'm really grateful, right? That will actually help you to go far, right? How about the other situation? When done a favor for the other person, right? Okay, and the person thank you. When you do something nice for the other person and the person thank you, right? So what do you say to that? What's the best response to that? Yeah, you could say this, hey, you're welcome. That's what colleagues are for. Or if it's a friend, hey, you're welcome. That's what friends are for. Okay. Or you could say this, okay, this person say thank you to you, say, hey, you're welcome. I know you do the same for me. This will increase compliance for a future favor, right? Okay, the best thing to say after the person have said this to you, right? But here's the thing, my friends, I want you to pretend that you're not seeing this slide today. You're not seeing this slide. I want you to pretend, huh? Okay, but usually, what is your usual knee-jerk response when it comes to actually people saying thank you to you? Like imagine, let's say you do something nice to me and I say thank you to you. Thank you. What do you usually say to that, right? Like most people, they will say, like, for instance, oh, you're welcome, or say, hey, no problem, okay, or it's my pleasure. Or there are cases where you do this, like for instance, people say thank you to you, like say, hey, thank you, and the person says, hey, don't mention it. You know what happens when you say don't mention it? That means the person will mention in future, right or not, okay? You're canceling out your own compliance, right? But it'll be different if, let's say, right, okay, you do something nice for the person and the person say thank you, then you say, okay, you're welcome, because I know that if the situation were reversed, I know you do the same for me, right? This would forge better connection with the person there, all right? Okay, so there you go. Okay, some actually words for you. You can use it actually in your daily life itself. And the thing is that, in summary, today's session is this. Okay, we have like 3 secrets. We actually explore secret number 1, liking triggers, as well as secret number 2, how do you turn that hostility, sourness into a friendliness, right? And also the last part, the secret number 3, words that foster better relationships. All right. So you see, actually for today's session, we have this actually 1 hour plus. I guess it's a shame. It's a pity that we only got this time slot. But in this particular 1 hour plus, I actually did my best to actually put sort of like all the golden nuggets that can be fitted into this particular time slot. Okay. But yet, actually, the question to you is this. Okay, let me ask you a question, which is that, okay, even though we only got this 1 hour, we actually just basically barely scratching the surface. So the question is actually, would you like to have more? Right? Would you like to have more? And I'm talking about much more, lots more. Okay, I'm talking about more, for instance, more situations, more strategies and more methods for you to actually, have more in-depth ways to connect with people. And I'm talking about also having more, right? Okay, type of examples and case studies for you to emulate, and also psychologically cause liking and bonding with others. Like more of these, right? And also everything is laid out to you, okay, in a way that's systematic and also like more in-depth, like an exact step-by-step blueprint for you. Would you be interested to have that? Okay, so if you're interested, what happens is this. I'd like to actually transit over and take maybe the next 2 minutes to talk to you about what's going to happen, all right? Okay, like today's course itself is actually just really just the tip of the iceberg. And what's going to happen is that on the 22nd of June, okay, we're going to have like the big one, the All Secrets Revealed online workshop, right? So secrets to connect with others, the psychological methods to create bonding and liking with actually people itself, right? We're going to actually, sort of like put steroids into it and also like, kick it full gear on the 22nd of June. I believe it's a Monday, okay, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be conducted over Zoom itself, right? So what happens is that this is a full workshop, All Secrets Revealed, okay? A lot more in-depth. And of course, since we're going to conduct it over Zoom, right? I guess the very convenient thing is that, you can actually just wake up at about, say, 8:45 a.m. So brush your teeth, wash up a little bit, right? At 9 a.m., that's it. Okay, we're on our way. right? So, that's the thing, okay? And so over Zoom itself, that's a convenience, right? And you might be wondering what would be covered during the entire session itself. So here's the thing, okay? And a snippet of what you learn is that actually, like, for instance, thing you must do, right? And I'm talking about within the first minutes to spark liking in others. One of the sections is on that, okay? Thing you must do within the first few minutes itself. Some people would like to think that, hey, you know what, connection or good relationships with others is actually forged, slowly over time. But what if I tell you that in the first few minutes, there are some critical things you can do that actually, in a way, pave the path for you to actually cause liking to happen in others easier already, right? And actually, we'll be talking about that in this section. And also, the next thing is actually this strategies to actually make the connections to actually, in a way, forge better connections, make it happen with people during conversations in your personal as well as your professional life. Because as you know, when you have conversation and having a dialogue, you talk to other people, right? Many times, most of the dialogues itself, they are just, surface chats. But, most people have, they actually, after having a conversation with someone else, right? They will just leave the dialogue feeling that they are not any closer to that person. But what if actually we're talking about, how you actually, after talking to the person will leave the conversation feeling that, yeah, I kind of feel very connected with this person here, right? So that's what we're talking about here in this particular section, the strategies, the exact what to do, what to say, and so on. All right. And then also, actually, of course, how to turn a sour working relationship into an amicable one. Important, right? Because I come to know that, again, and this actually, I guess, is a bit hurtful to most people, that they go to work with actually very good purpose, with actually a lot of altruism, okay? They want to actually do a good job at the work, but many times it's the people factor. I want to do a good job, but somehow, there's actually, the relationship with the colleagues itself is not so well, doesn't get along. So wouldn't you have the best of both worlds, right? You have actually, for instance, well, actually, I know the good mood to go to the workplace, as well as actually a good working relationship there, to make the entire professional career for the rest of your life an easy peasy one. Wouldn't you like that? Okay, right. And so also another thing is actually the subtle trust trigger. This one, like how to actually have others feel that they can trust you. And most people would think that when it comes to trust, right, trust is being fostered within, like, for instance, days, weeks, or months. But what if I tell you, and this is a very important key point, that this can be actually forged within minutes itself. Okay, and I got this from a real life example, a real documented case where a person is able to actually cause trust, other people to trust this person better, to actually believe the person better within the first few minutes itself. All right. Okay. So I mean, if I can actually just in a way, if I can talk this a little bit, right? Okay, just this particular section here, right? It's actually worth the entire bookshop itself already. Okay, right, and also the secrets to dissolve conflicts, right? And also with people, form relationships with people, right? Who are, well, for lack of a better word, they are like difficult people. They are hard to get along, right? They are actually, in a way, so I mean, if you're talking about actually forging relationships with people who are just friendly by default, that's easy. But we're talking about, if let's say the person, right, it's actually those who actually are conflict oriented, like to actually always have conflicts with people or hard to get along, right? How? Yes, this section will be devoted to that, to talk about that, right? And also on top of that, there'll also be cases whereby, what if actually in the capacity of what you do at the workplace, like you need to sometimes, right, need to, in a way, so-called scold people, need to criticize, or need to actually, in a way, correct people. Now, we'll actually be devoted a segment, right, to talk about how you could actually criticize the other person, to correct the person, but yet at the end, the person will still like you and respect you for that. Okay, right? So we're going to be talking about that. And also finally, how to have others actually be warm and willing to help you or do favors for you. Right? Okay. In other words, when you actually connect with others, right, you are essentially creating support groups and a supportive circle, right? Actually wherever you go. So in that sense itself, actually, like sometimes actually, I mean, this is life. Sometimes actually, when you have certain things to actually ask people for help, right? Like now that they like you, they actually be more than willing to actually say, hey, I'll be willing to help, right? So there you go. Actually, these are actually some again, but okay, there's a lot more, but these are just like, for instance, the main type of the segments and sections in this particular course here. Right. Okay. So maybe you might be asking, like, who is this for? Okay. Like, maybe is this really for me? You might be thinking to yourself. And I guess the best way to explain this is to actually let you know, like, based from actually the past few runs that we have, right? Okay. Like, who are the people who attended this? Okay. We have people from different arenas. Like, we have people from the finance world. There are bankers, even financial planners as well. People who are in human resource as well. And people who are actually in the capacity of sales and marketing as well. Or some people in PR or other arenas, like, whether is it white collar or blue collar, they have all attended this. So it's not so much about the craft per se, right? But it's actually, I know this workshop is designed, right, open-ended strategies for you to use, okay? And this open-endedness, it's actually, you can fit it to your own context. Whether it's actually with, like, for instance, your colleagues, like, you can build cooperative bonds with them, okay, your team members, or you want to foster closer ties with your bosses, supervisors, your superiors or higher ups, or whether it's actually with, bonds actually with customers, clients, suppliers, vendors, and external parties. The good thing about having this open-ended adaptability is that you can can learn that particular one secret, okay, and it can be used in different contexts in your own, you can use it for your own context, right? And of course, let's not forget there's a spillover effect as well. When you learn this, it's also useful for your own personal life as well. It's not restricted to just at the workplace. The same concepts can for you is actually able for you to use your own home, okay, and actually your own with your friends, okay, actually in your own time outside of the workplace as well. All right. Okay. So of course, having said that, okay, what do you get actually when you register today? Okay. In a while, I'm gonna show you a page where you can go and actually register. Okay. So of course, first of all, you're gonna get the entire Secrets Pack workshop. Okay, the entire day itself. I'm gonna actually do my best to over deliver to everybody. All right. Okay. But actually, other than that, other than the entire workshop itself, going from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right. What happens is you're gonna get a course material. It's gonna be sent to you. Okay. When you register, it's gonna be sent to you. Okay. The entire material you can keep it for life. And also, this is actually something extra I like to do for this Zoom session, which is that, okay, when you register and prior to the session itself, right, when you got certain challenges or questions that maybe pertains to your own workplace, like certain challenges of how to connect with people, you can feel free to actually email. Okay, later on, actually after this slide, we show them the email you can send to, right? Okay, you can email the questions over. And what I can do is actually, during the course itself, right, okay, I can actually even custom fit certain actually strategies, right, to actually address that particular challenge, right? But of course, you can do this either, actually, you can request whether you want this to actually be done during the workshop itself, or actually maybe it's the particular challenge, the particular situation, the scenario is probably too personal, then it's okay. Just let me know and then I can address this privately. Okay, yeah. So what do I get so far? Okay, for this, when you register today, you're going to get the entire Secrets the Secrets Pack workshop. You're going to get the course material, okay, sent to you. You're going to actually, this particular extra thing, okay, this extra component, which is you can submit your question and challenges, I actually address it, okay, and also, you also get this particular special 20% discount promo code. See, again, this particular session, and also the actual course itself is organized by Aventis, so they're very nice to actually extend 20% discount, okay, and you can use this promo code, which again, will be flashed to you in the next slide. But of course, having said that, I will wish for everybody that actually, if you want to come for the course, please come for the course, right? Okay, for this course itself, not because it's actually, not because it's discounted. Instead, come for the course because it's beneficial and of value to you, right? So that's what I'm talking about. But still, Aventis want to do something nice for you. They want to give a 20% discount, okay? So that's something to think about, right? So of course, again, you're going to get the entire Secrets Pack workshop. You're going to get the course material. You're going to get this extra component. Okay, submit your question, I'll address it. Also, the special 20% discount promo code. And of course, finally, at the end of the entire session itself, during the entire online workshop, all the secrets revealed to you. You actually, we finish the whole thing, you get the e-certificate, right? So of course, at this point of time, you're wondering where to register, right? And this is it. Okay, this is the particular, you can see this QR code here. This, and there's a link there as well, which I guess later on I can put in the chat box, right? It's too lengthy, not to worry about it. Just scan this QR code in and you'll be there, right? Okay. Or if not, actually, you see the particulars are there, the information are there. Like for instance, the person in charge, her name is Chai-Fen. Okay, you can actually go ahead and just contact Chai-Fen. Like you can see here the number and then the email address is actually flashed on screen here. Okay. Or if let's say you're interested, what you can do is you can just call up, and also if not the number, you can WhatsApp her just to hold a place first. Maybe some of you are will actually be interested to come with some of your colleagues and so on. So what you can do is you can just call up, hold a place first for yourself. You can talk to your colleagues and say, hey, I'd like to come for this one. So maybe you all can come as a group, okay, as a pair or as a group, up to you, okay, right, by yourself, up to you as well. But if you come as a group, what happens is that on this page, you can also see that, they actually extended group concessions as well. So what happens is actually they're extending further sort of concessions for you all. So that's a nice thing. All right. Okay. So once again, actually, I know this is actually, the QR code, the place to go for this particular course itself. Right. So, by the way, actually, if you have any questions about today's course, okay, or today's session itself, or about this actual course, feel free to actually also email to Chai-Fen. Right. And so what happens is she'll actually forward the questions to me for some of those questions. Right. Okay. And in my best capacity, I'll actually help you out with that. All right. Okay. So anyway, before I wrap up, I just want to say that you see this particular period that we're in right now, this phase, right, is basically what they call the circuit breaker phase, right? This COVID-19 situation that we have here. Okay. And one thing's for sure, which is that you see whether or not the COVID-19 situation or this circuit breaker will end on 1st June, or whether or not we're extended, we wouldn't know. But one thing's for sure is that months later, we'll be back into the workplace, right? We'll go back to the workplace, right? Everything will actually resume gradually. But of course, having said that, there will be two groups of people who actually will sort of be present during that time, okay? That after when this circuit breaker ends. Okay, when they go back to the workplace, the first group of people will be those people who are actually during this time frame, right? They kind of slide, right? In other words, this circuit breaker period, they use this period to actually and to encourage themselves to be sort of like, to increase their passivity or lethargy during this point of time. But you see, there'll be a second group of people during that time as well, okay? Which is actually, by the time the circuit breaker is over, right? The second group of people will be those people who actually emerge to be actually heads over, miles ahead of other people, right? These are the people who actually use this particular circuit breaker period, right, smartly. They use their time wisely. They use this period to upskill themselves. They use this period of time, right, to actually learn certain skills and abilities that's useful and helpful, right? But by the time this circuit breaker ends, right, they use the skills to actually, in a way, ascend better in their own career or in their own professional life. So what better skill is there than actually particularly the skill to connect with other people? So of course, I look forward to actually seeing you actually register for this, to actually turn up on the 22nd of June, right? Okay, so I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, so and with that, actually, I got some news for you. That's basically the session for today. I want to thank all of you here today who is here with me and for giving me your actually undivided attention. Okay, appreciate that. And so with that, okay, I just like to conclude this course, and I like to actually finish off by wishing you well. Okay, I like to wish everybody here. I like to wish you success, and I wish you good health, especially for this season, right? I also like to wish you all the great rewards you can have in life, right? So my name is Tylus Lim. Thank you very much.